What's up guys, Q here from Q'd Animations, bringing you a real quick tutorial. So in the last couple months, man, I've been getting flooded with video requests, and so I've been creating a lot. And I thought, after I wish I would have thought in hindsight before creating all of these content, that I should do a quick demo on how I create some of these, because clients been asking me to create these things. And I have a lot of products and projects that I've been doing, so I wanted to give a quick demo. So you see here, I'm creating the hand and breaking down the layers. I'm using Illustrator, but then I take that into Animate Studio Pro, other software like After Effects, and I composite everything so that we have a complete project. Naming conventions are really important when you have layer upon layer, and not to mention this project could be touched by several people, several artists, trying to navigate through the different layers. It's important to have a description of what you're working on to make more efficient use of your time. You can see here now what I'm doing is I'm making sure all of my colors and all of my sequence are lining up, so that when I play this and I composite it for motion in 2D, that it is a single motion. A lot of times what happens is there could be potentially several other people are creating in-betweens, or those are the actions, those slight movements that your eye don't quite catch, but it knows that something happened. And so the way you create, it has to look like one person has touched this at all times. It has to be a singular motion. And so me knowing this and coming from a background where I worked in a production house, I understand that potentially later on there could be 5 people working on this. They give you time to create not just the hand but the entire body, and so I always keep that in mind when I'm creating. You can see now I'm saving out everything. Like I said before, I already had created this in white just so I can have an idea. It was my animatic. Now I'm saving out everything to put it into Animate Studio Pro so I can continue on and create some kind of motion with it. Just replacing what I already have with an updated version so that the other software will look for it and give me feedback. Rather, it'll give me the colored version instead of it in white. Now I'm in Animate Studio Pro, and as you can see, I've already have some kind of motion established. It has been approved by the client, and so now what I'm doing is updating the action. I'm going to give it some more effects, a background, and I won't do it on screen, but what I'll do is at the end of the video I'll show you guys what I came up with for the client. You can see here where I'm fine-tuning the action and the different scenes. So different angles, I'm breaking it down and layering them so that there's scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, and so on and so forth, so that I have an idea of where the paper plane is going to end up, where the hand is going to end up, and so things in the background will play out in the perspective that it's supposed to be. Not really getting into the technical side of it. I mean, there's more than one software to achieve the same goal, and should you guys want to see that a step-by-step version, I'll be more than happy to do it. Just let me know in the description. And so what I'm doing now is really giving a demonstration on my process. By no means is this one process that everyone needs to follow, but for me it keeps me efficient, because I can do this in 3D, for example. I can do it in 2D like I'm doing here, a combination of both I've done. So, and I don't necessarily have to use Animate Studio Pro. I like it because it's a quick exchange between all of my other software. But I've created similar actions in animate in After Effects. So there's a lot of different ways to achieve the same goal. I'm just giving a play-by-play of how I'm creating this particular project. Again, you can see here where I'm fine-tuning and making sure the perspective and angles are correct based off the scene. What you don't see off screen is that I have a second screen set up, and my animatic is playing, and I have my storyboard so that I'm able to see where I need to create and what I need to put, and the timing as well. I'll spend a little time on this process to make sure it's right, because your eye will catch if it's not good, and it'll catch it if it is good, and it'll accept it. But if it's bad, you will know. It'll stand out more. Yeah, a project like this, clients, they use for infographics, use for demos, PowerPoints, keynotes, and so I'll go through and I'll create these so that they have them. And a lot of times, this particular client, he likes like really simple designs, because he's giving a speech and he wants to have some kind of imagery or some kind of animation that goes along with that. And so we work together to create those things. Skipped ahead a little bit. I played around another 15-20 minutes or so on the time. I didn't like the angle, so I wanted to make sure it was right. And so to spare you guys, I just went ahead and skipped ahead. You can see here what I'm doing is I'm going and revising my plane for the next scene. So it's going to be like almost like a side view, and so you can see all I'm doing is I'm taking what I've already created, giving it more of a straight on side view look, so that when it's flying through, but you'll see what happens in the next scene. Always remember to save your work. You don't know how many times I've been working on something and software crash or something, and you have to do it all over again. So remember to save and save often. On top of that, you notice I'm constantly always looking at it, testing the animation, because the action is important, and when your eyes has adjust to it, it's harder to catch mistakes. So always, if you can, look at it from different angles and different perspectives. It will help you to see any mistakes or mishaps that you have. You notice I caught the fact that with the next scene is moving the keyframe so far, so the original frame starting at 1 doesn't work, so I have to delete those guys. Otherwise I'm going to have a glitchy style type animation when I put the visibility on and off. Now you see as I play it, the animation is coming along. It's a fluid motion between the hands, between the perspective and the angles of the plane, even the little spin that was put in, so that we know that it's in a different scene. You notice here I'm clocking the timing for the different scenes, and the scenes are simply layers. So I've grouped layers according to the action, and with their visibility I'm going on and off, so that I'm not creating several projects and implementing them in just one project with different, as I call them, scenes, but they're layers. They're stacked on top of each other, and they're timed accordingly. You notice now we're at scene 4, and this is the scene where the side angle comes into play, what you saw me creating. And I'm going to take it in and I'll scale it accordingly, because I have my project set up for 1920 by 1080, but I don't need the paper plane at 1920 by 1080. I just wanted it at a higher resolution, and we can scale it down accordingly. And this you'll understand this more as we go through this process, that at different angles we're going to go up and down and create the forced perspective that we want. You notice that blue bounding box, that's the box that is visible to the camera. Everything outside of it will not be. So as we come to a conclusion of this demo, I'm going to apply in the finished comp, or right at the back of this project. So there you have it. You can see, it's not a really long animation, but it's effective and it gets the point across, especially in a PowerPoint type situation. And to the next one, I'm Q, lead creative designer for Q'd Animations. If you dream it, we can build it. Please like, share, and follow for more.